Roger wished, and let's get into today's speed build. This one is specific. It is not just a generic Sims 4 household, it is in fact the Coraline house build. If you're familiar with the movie Coraline, I am building the pink palace that she and her parents live in. And if you're not, I'll just give you a quick synopsis of the movie. So it says, while exploring her new home, a girl named Coraline discovers a secret door, behind which lies an alternate world that closely mirrors her own, but in many ways is better. She rejoices in her discovery until Other Mother and the rest of her parallel family try to keep her there forever. Coraline must use all her resources and bravery to make it back to her own family and life. And it came out on the 8th of May 2009, directed by Henry Selick. It's actually a really good film. It's a stop motion. If you haven't seen it, I recommend that you check it out. I was 10 going on 11 that year. So for me, I've loved it since it came out. I went to the cinema to see it. I remember going to see it in the movies. But it's always been super spooky. But I think the older I've got, the more spooky and creepy and scary I find it. But nevertheless, it's enjoyable, and I recommend that you give it a watch if you're looking for something new to watch if you haven't seen it already. So this is the back porch we're doing right here. I did find it quite tricky to do. In fact, I'll put up a wee picture right now. Here is the pink palace from the movie. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to build. Sims 4 obviously has its restrictions, whereas if a stop motion picture is getting made, you get to make it from paper, cardboard, woods, all sorts, and you can make it completely custom, whereas we have to stick to certain rules in the Sims in terms of size of walls and whatnot. But I think what I produced was a pretty decent replica. I know that quite a lot of people have probably done this build in The Sims 4 already, but I wanted to give it a go because I was watching Coraline one day and I said, oh, that looks like a good house to build in The Sims because it isn't simple. So I gave it a go, and this is the result. These little roof things are from Get Together, and I'm just sizing them down so that they aren't quite as big and noticeable. And sizing them down does mean that the base clips into the roof, but I actually don't mind that because then it just gives that little gold band on the edge, and it just gives the actual little spikes on the top. So I just skipped doing that because I did that over all the different roof parts. And then I put a little end double needle on the edge of the roof there. And we're just having a little pause here for some reason. So this house should be on the gallery. If it isn't at the present moment, then by the time you're watching this video, it will be. I'm not sure how much this build is priced at in The Sims 4, but I do know that I built it in Brindleton Bay. I don't sound very sure of that, but I'm pretty sure I built it in Brindleton Bay. So this is the outdoor porch, just on a nice big roof there, and this is the roof for the little, people call it a different thing, but I call it a sunroom, and it's got windows right round it and a glass roof. I didn't include that because it did take a little bit to get the roofs aligned and decide how I wanted to play it. So it looks basically like the roof is all one piece, but part of it is glass, but I had to use obviously two different parts of roofing to recolor one and make it glass. I was just trying to find the right columns for this because I felt like those square ones were just too big and chunky, and nothing really on the Coraline house is like that. I like these ones much more. However, this little one here that I just placed, it goes black for some reason, so I don't know why that's glitching out. We're just placing the windows now. That level there, you can't get up to it. It is purely just in the roof, but it still needs some windows. It still looked better, and it still matched the house better from the original movie. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Do you like it? Do you watch it often? I really like it. I think it's a very good movie, but personal taste, I don't really watch a lot of stop motion, and it's a shame really, because I know how much work and effort the filmmakers and the animators put into it. So I do appreciate the art, but in terms of how much I enjoy watching the movies, it's not a lot. I don't really like things like Wallace and Gromit or anything like that. I very, very briefly started watching Isle of Dogs, but that was just a little bit weird for me. I might try that again sometime. Let me know if you recommend that. I guess I'm giving my age away when I say that I was 10 going on 11 in 2009, but I'd be interested to find out if people remember going who were younger than me, if people went who are older than me and they remember how they felt about it. The back porch there, it does get changed shape a little bit because it wasn't really matching up properly, and I didn't like the size of it either. It was a little bit big, and now we're just doing the classic pink shingles on the outside. You can't make the Coraline house without making it pink, because it's called the Pink Palace. I know that in the movie the build is in 3 parts, so the basement belongs to 2 older women, and the attic is lived in by a circus man, and then the main house is Coraline and her parents' home. But for the build, I decided not to do the stairs going down into the basement and the stairs round the side and up to the attic, because it makes the whole house bigger to accommodate that, and it didn't look as realistic as this did without all of that. And when I built this, it was quite a while ago now, because it was actually the first build I did with terrain manipulation, and I was so excited because I had watched Coraline, decided that I wanted to do the build, and then, I don't know, maybe a day before that, the terrain editing tool was announced, and when I was coming to do the build, it had just been released, and I was so excited to get started with the build and to edit that terrain. And the reason I wanted to use it on this build specifically is because it adds to the look and feel of the movie. And as you can see, now that I've raised the terrain up so much, the foundations came up as well. The back does have stairs on it. You can't use the back door. I'm just going to say that right now. That there's too much of an angle at the edge of the lot, so the sim can't actually get down once they come down the stairs. There's nowhere for them to go. But of course, if you put it on a bigger lot, you can smooth it out so that they can walk down the hill, or you can just take that back door away altogether. I just wanted to keep it in because it is in the movie. And then those front steps they're in the movie, and there's a whole lot else in the front garden, but I wanted to put it on that specific lot, and that was the size of it, so I was happy with the way it looked for that. Now I'm just getting some furniture in, deciding the sizes of everywhere and where I want to put the rooms, how I want to do the floor plan, because in the movie, of course, the floor plan probably doesn't marry up to the outside of the house that well. Probably not perfectly, because they've had to design rooms for specific scenes, and so the size and shape of the room won't matter that much because you're not going to see a floor plan of the house. So I just had to make my own, and to be honest, that is not something that is my strong point, but I went with it anyway. So back there at the back door, I decided to put in the dad's office. In the movie, the dad has an office with boxes everywhere because they've just moved in, and he's sitting at his computer typing away because he's making a garden magazine, I think. But then in the other world, the better version of her life, the dad has a piano, so we're going to incorporate the piano more towards the front of the house. But this is the office that the dad uses in her real reality. Can you call it a real reality? I'm not sure. It is quite dark and dreary, the decor, but I feel like that gives the vibe of the film, because in the film, her world, the reality of her life, she's a bit depressed, to be honest. That's why she likes the other world so much. So that's why I just went with like dark browns and greens and colours like that. And then that little stack of books there, that was just to give the idea of it being kind of messy and things being everywhere. I've got the bills on the desk. I think also I've got mismatching chairs in that room. If I don't have mismatching chairs on the chess table, then I know that the chess table and the desk chairs don't match. The kitchen is quite a big scene at the start of Coraline going into the other world, because her mum is cooking all this food and she's like, oh, that smells so good, but then she's like, that's not my mum. My mum doesn't have time to cook, she's too busy doing this gardening magazine. And that's one of the things that initially entices her to like the alternative universe, you could say. And so I wanted to make a nice big homey family kitchen to give that same idea and feeling that she gets when she goes into the other world for the first time. So this house, kind of, I've tried to incorporate both the real world Coraline house and the other world Coraline house. We've got a nice big dining table there as well down the other side. So coming away from the build a wee minute, I hope everybody's having a good week. I've not had too much of an eventful week this week. Today I'm just concentrating on working on some build videos, and I'll be doing some painting later on. I think I'm going to make a video about that, so if I post this before I post that, let me know if you want me to post a video of me painting. And if I have posted it, then go check that out on the channel. Leave a comment on that video, leave a comment on this video, whatever suits yourself. It's going to be an abstract painting, and it's going to have a couple of little characters silhouetted on it. I'm looking forward to doing it, but I'm a bit nervous because I'm not a painter. I've done one canvas in my life for somebody, and that's because they asked me to, not because I volunteered. So there, we're just putting the flag on. I'm not sure why, but on the Pink Palace they have a little flag on the side of the house, I'm sure. If you yourself have done a Coraline build, let me know in the comments and let me know your username so I can have a look at that. That would be really cool to see people's rendition of it, especially inside. That's something I've not thought to do until right now, is actually go into the gallery and see other people's, because I know that there's other people who have done it, so they must be on the gallery, which is actually pretty interesting. I'd like to see them. decided to put those dog treat jars in, but there isn't anything else in the home to do with pets. There isn't any beds or dog bowls or anything like that. That was purely just for decoration in the kitchen. So now I was just trying to decide how to separate this big space off and make a living area, but I didn't want to have an open plan living area because I felt like this style of house wouldn't have it. There we have the piano. I could have just left that open, but because I was basing it on the other world's dad's office, I decided to enclose it and just have just a piano room and nothing else in it. Talk pretty fast. I think that's just, first of all, it's definitely with being Scottish, because a lot of Scottish people talk fast, but I think generally it's because I'm quite a quiet person, and so whenever I do have something to say, I always feel like people aren't going to listen, and so I had to say it really quickly so that they listen to the whole thing and don't lose interest. And it's something that I'm really trying to work on, slowing my words down, because I know that when you're watching a video it's not the same as in person, and I know that you can, if you don't want to listen to the voiceover, you can just turn the volume off, but if you do want to listen to a voiceover and the person's talking really fast, it can be kind of hard to keep up, and I find it hard to keep up with myself sometimes. So honest, I'm trying to slow myself down. If you think I'm speaking too fast, do let me know what you think, and any techniques you have to slowing my speech down, I would really appreciate it, because even with the videos, just speaking to people, my sister talks fast, and even she says, "Wow, you're talking fast." So that says something, because she is so fast at talking. It's an odd place to put it, but I decided to put shelves with all of these collectible skulls and the little, I don't know what they are, little cone egg things in the bathroom, and they were really representing the children that the other mother has already captured. So in the story, the other mother takes on the physical presence of people in the real world, and then she gets their kids into the world and she entices them, makes them stay there, and then she makes them switch their eyes for buttons, which is super creepy and kind of morbid. So that was kind of just a nod to that, for the skulls being like representing all the eyes she's taken from kids and replaced with buttons. At the end of the movie, Coraline has to find 3 children's eyes to set them free, and at the same time she also doesn't give in to the other mother by letting her sew buttons in her eyes. So that's a really cheery thought. For a family of 3, I feel like this living room suffices in size. It's pretty small and cozy. I kind of like it though. I think it adds to the vibe of the whole house. It's all small and little rooms here and there, and it's all kind of dark and cozy. I think it works. And then we have the archway through to the sunroom, where we have a couple of benches and a little game table. I probably could have used that space and opened it up and had a big living room, but I wanted the sunroom to be closed off. I don't know why, I just felt like that suited the build more. So it's a bit of a strange floor plan, but I think it works. Had this been Sims 2, I would have put a little telephone on that table beside the stairs. I'm not sure if Sims 3 had the telephones. I never actually played Sims 3 much. So those little globes that I just put under the TV, that was to represent the snow globes that she has in her house in the real world. Her mum likes to collect snow globes from wherever they go, and then they end up getting trapped in that and she has to break it to let them out. So we've moved on to the upstairs. This is the master bedroom ensuite. I took a couple of minutes just to decide on the shape and layout I wanted for the master suite to be, with the bathroom included, because I wanted to have the bath, shower, and some nice, some space. I didn't want everything to be squashed up. Here I was just looking to put a table in for a dressing table. I initially went with this one because it's just nice and small. It gets the job done, but I did end up going with a bigger one afterwards. So I went with that 4-poster bed because I thought it looked a bit more, I thought it suited the aesthetic of the house more with that quilt and then the wood. And then you can see there the double wide dressing table that I've put in instead, and then I put the drawers over there. In the bedrooms, I never included a television or anything like that because I feel like for this build it's very family orientated in the way that they have the living room, they have the bedrooms, they have the dining area. So I wanted to keep it more of a family relationship where they don't all disappear to the separate rooms and watch TV there. And I don't know what possessed me to put that over the window above the bed, but I thought it was quite cool and quirky and a possibility for the build to have something like that. This here is Coraline's bedroom. I was determined to put a double bed in here because in the film she has a double bed and she has a 4-poster bed. I'm pretty sure it's white, so that's why I went with that one. And then everything else just kind of followed suit. She has some toys that come to life in the other world, so that's why I put in the toy box and the little doctor set. But she isn't, she's more of a tween in the movie. She's kind of maybe, I don't know, 12. So in the movie she probably wouldn't play with that little science set or the doll doctor thing, but for The Sims the children do play with that, so you don't really get the tween stage. I just included all the toys. I like that little bay window with the seat. I thought it was really nice little space for her to go and hang out. I did include the chemistry set because Coraline is a bit eccentric in her character. She likes to explore and imagine things, so I figured she would probably want to make some potions up or things with the chemistry set. I did just keep any wood furniture white because it is like that in the movie, and since it's Coraline's movie and it's a Coraline house build, I wanted to do Coraline's bedroom as true to the movie as I've tried to do everything else on the exterior.